Hi, I'm Megan.
I'm Colin, and this is Pet Sitter Confessional,
an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter.
Brought to you by Time to Pet and Pet Perennials. Are you afraid of big changes? Oftentimes we get frozen in our tracks and are unable to process or move forward when we're faced with major changes in our life. Maria Teran, owner of Chicawoof Dog Walking, has gone through many life-altering events. From fleeing her home country to uprooting to a brand new city to start a business, Maria faces challenges with optimism and opportunity. She joins the show to reflect on those events, how she found and stays true to her brand, and talks about growing and selling businesses. Let's get started.
Hi, my name is Maria Teran, and I live in Chicago, Illinois. I currently own two businesses, Chicawoof, where we offer dog walking and pet sitting, and Field Days, where our main service is midday dog walking. I've been working with pets for almost 6 years now. I wanted to work with animals, and I was doing my research about what my options were. I didn't know dog walking and pet sitting were a thing back then. So by that time, I couldn't afford learning grooming or becoming a dog trainer. And of course, I knew I wasn't going to be a vet. So I was like, okay, let's try this dog walking and pet sitting thing. Let's see what happens. And so my first year in the industry was as a hobby sitter. Then when I knew that this is what I wanted to do and okay, now I want a business. This is a business. I want to make it like official. The information that I found online wasn't enough for me to take that next step. So this is going to sound weird, but I flew to Myrtle Beach to attend PSI's conference that year. And that conference changed everything. I met so many people, like people with very successful businesses. And I was like, I want to be like them. You know, if they can do it, I can do it. So after that trip to Myrtle Beach, after attending that conference, that's where everything started. I got back home and started to work on my business.
Wow, so that conference was really critical for you, and I love hearing that, being connected with others. And I think just seeing that it was possible really sounds like it really opened your eyes to how you could make your passion into something that you could do full time.
Yeah, because I was so confused. You know, I see, like, by that time, like, I saw the opportunity, like, this is a business. But at the same time, when I was doing my research, like, online, like, you know, there were mixed opinions on everything. So I was like, no, I need to see it. I need to talk to someone, like, in real life, you know, like, face to face. Yeah. So I don't even remember how I found that conference because I didn't even know that PSI was a thing either. So I don't remember. So yeah, I found them. That's the point. And yeah, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to that conference. I'm going to see what happens. And yeah, it worked.
You're right. I'm definitely one of those learners too. Of I can read the instructions, I can get all that information, but for many things, until I can talk to somebody and actually just physically talk it out and see some real world examples, a lot of stuff I have a hard time connecting with. So it's interesting that you're kind of the same way too. At least with you were when you started the business.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like that conference was like really inspiring to me. I remember after the first day, by the way, we were evacuated because there was a hurricane in Myrtle Beach that year.
Oh.
But after the first day, like all the sessions and everything, I went back to my room and I started writing my business plan.
Now, earlier in your story, you had said that when you started off, you considered yourself a hobby sitter. What does that mean to you? What do you think some of the differences are?
Well, to me, I said I was a hobby sitter because I didn't have like a legally established business. I wasn't carrying insurance or anything. I was just walking dogs. Boarding, by that time I was doing boarding dogs and, you know, like just what a lot of people call like private clients, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I call a hobby sitter.
are currently in Chicago, but you have moved a couple times over the last several years, and you actually grew and sold a business prior to running Chicawoof. What was that process like?
Well, this is going to sound weird too. But when I was in New Jersey, one day, I woke up and I said, okay, I need a change. I want a different environment. I want a city environment. I'm moving to Chicago, out of nowhere. Oh. Yes. That's who I am.
Wow.
So, yeah, my business back then, which was my first business, the first business that I opened, it was called North Bergen Pet Sitter. And that business had a good amount of clients. It was growing. We were, getting new clients. It had potential. So I didn't want to just close it down. Plus, I felt that business was a great opportunity for someone to get started in the industry or to get started as a business owner. So I decided, okay, I'm going to try to sell it. And I remember one of my clients preferred the buyer. So she referred this person as a potential buyer. And I met with this person. We talked about it. I showed her all the details about my business. And she fell in love with the business and she bought the business. And I remember we signed all the paperwork, the buy and sell agreement and all this. We signed all that 2 weeks before my moving date. So we had to pack. Yes. I was losing hope. It was 2 weeks and I'm I have nobody. I'm going to have to close down. Oh. And all my clients were waiting, because I told them the truth. I was honest with my clients. I told them hey, I'm trying to sell the business. Uh-huh. If I don't sell it, I'm going to close down. So they were they all were waiting, they were waiting to see what happened. It was funny, but yeah, 2 weeks before my moving date, this person bought the business and we had to pack our schedules with all the meet and greets and transition duties.
Oh man, what was that transition like in such a short time frame, getting everybody introduced and working through all of that?
Yeah, well, I didn't have a huge business, 200 clients. It was a kind of a small business. So it was kind of easy. Most clients didn't care. They just, okay, I trust you. You sold the business. You trust this person. Okay, I'll get it. Some of them, they were yeah, I would like to meet the new owner, blah, blah, blah. So it wasn't too bad. Plus I had everything ready, all my paperwork, my SOPs, everything was ready. So it was a really smooth transition.
Wow. Yeah, I think just being prepared sounds like that was one of the biggest things that you could have done for the business. Looking back on that, was there anything that you would have done differently about that process?
I think, I don't know. I mean, I think I would have planned better, to not do everything rushing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would do different. Yeah.
Yeah, I know sometimes our timelines are kind of set for us and we've got to go. Other times we set them for ourselves. Yeah. But it's always hard to juggle of trying to expect how much time something's going to take. And as you experienced it kind of went up right to the wire for you. But at least you had things like the SOPs and all of that in place before you started that process.
Yeah. And I remember that before the lady that bought the business, I met with 2 potential buyers before her. And people were okay, I don't have money. I like your business and everything, but I don't have money. And I'm okay. Yeah. Or some people, I was I'm moving in 2 weeks. I need an answer, Yeah. So they were 2 weeks, you are not giving me enough time to get the money. And I'm okay, you are trying to buy a business. You are supposed to have money, So, but yeah. Yeah, I was losing hope until this lady came to my life.
Yeah. No, so were you selling mostly the client list or I guess you were also selling all of your procedures and policies as well?
Yeah, everything.
Now, it sounds like you are someone who's not afraid of big changes. You woke up one morning and decided you needed to change. You flew down to Myrtle Beach to learn more about a business. Where does that come from with you and how you approach those kind of challenges?
I don't know. That's who I am. That's who I am. I don't know. I don't know where that comes from. I guess I like new beginnings.
Yeah.
I really like new beginnings. So yeah, I guess that's my motivation when I make those kind of decisions, the crazy decisions.
Well, it sounds like those new those new beginnings and those challenges are something that excite you. And I know for many people, it can be really daunting and really scary and not know quite where to turn. But viewing it as a new beginning, not necessarily a challenge, but as a new beginning is kind of a different way of looking at those situations.
Right. Yeah. That's what I like.
Have you heard of Time to Pet? Dan from NYC Pooch has this to say.
Time to Pet has been a total game changer for us. It's helped us streamline many aspects of our operation, from scheduling and communication to billing and customer management. We actually tested other pet sitting softwares in the past, but these other solutions were clunky and riddled with problems. Everything in Time to Pet has been so well thought out. It's intuitive, feature-rich, and it's always improving.
If you're looking for new pet sitting software, give Time to Pet a try. Our listeners can save 50% off your first 3 months by visiting timetopet.com/confessional. So you woke up one morning, decided you wanted to go to Chicago. And what was the process like of arriving in Chicago? And did you immediately decide you wanted to start another dog walking and pet sitting company? Or what did that look like?
Yeah, before my moving date, I had everything ready. Like everything. So the website, everything was running before I even arrived to Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew what I wanted, and I knew that I wanted to do kind of the same thing that I was doing in New Jersey. Of course, that business model has been like changing as we grow, because right now Chicawoof is bigger than what I had in New Jersey by that time. So, of course, as business grows, everything change and you have to do some things differently. But yeah, my idea the whole time was like do kind of the same thing that I was doing in New Jersey.
Yeah. Now, Chicawoof, where did that name come from? Because I absolutely love it.
Well, the name Chicawoof, it's a word game between Chicago, like the city, and wolf, like woof woof, like the dogs. Yes. Don't ask me how I come up with that because I don't know. It just came to my mind. And I'm like, okay, this is an awesome name. That's my business name.
Best kind of names that you can come up with where they just they make sense. They kind of materialize out of thin air almost and just work.
Yeah, I agree. And it worked.
Yeah. Well, and you said you had everything prepared before you even landed in Chicago. Were you getting inquiries for pet services, and how did you handle that?
To be honest, I didn't. I didn't until I got here. And I started to meet people. And I remember this is going to sound weird too, but I just out of nowhere, I messaged another dog walker on Instagram. It's a girl that has a business. I don't know if she's still in business, but by that time she has a medium-sized business here. So I messaged her and I'm like, hi, I'm moving to Chicago very soon. I'm just looking for dog walker friends. and she was like, yeah, hi. I'm doing an event. She was doing an event. I don't remember what it was, but I'm doing an event this weekend. You want to stop by? We can meet. I don't like just referring people if I don't know them. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I'm going to stop by the event. And I went to her event. I met her. And that same week, she sent me one client. That client, until now, the client is with me. It's one of my best clients ever. I love them. And yeah, that was my first client in Chicago, Max and Fanny, the Labradors. And after that, and it was thanks to her. After that, I remember I printed my business cards and I left my business cards in my building's mail room. So there was a guy here in the building that needed a dog walker, or he had a dog walker and wanted a new dog walker, something like that. And he saw my cards and he contacted me. So I started like providing services, dog walking services for him. And and this guy told everybody about me.
Oh.
So now like we have like 80% of the dogs in my own building. So that's how everything started here.
Wow. Now that's something that that's amazing that
Yes.
I think a lot of people would be very jealous to know that you have that many clients that close to you. As far as
crazy. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh, thanks to this guy. Oh my God. Thank you so much.
Well, it really just goes to show that making these small connections have massive impacts on our business, and we're never really sure where those are going to come from. So we do have to be open to opportunities and people as they come, because again, you never know where that's going to lead.
Yeah, and you know what? That's how it works here in Chicago. I didn't feel it was like in New Jersey, but here in Chicago, like that's how you get clients. You have to go out there and talk to people.
Well, so that was another question that I had was you've operated two pet sitting and dog walking companies in completely different markets. So how would you describe the differences between those, and what was it like for you to adapt to those changes?
So the first difference that I've seen is that there are more dogs in Chicago.
Oh.
Like in general, in general, Chicago is more like dog friendly. So that's the first difference. Another difference is the type of clients. In New Jersey, it's more like families with kids and they have pets. So here it's more millennials having dogs instead of kids, which I love. I love Chicago's market. I actually found my ideal client profile here. So yeah. And I would say the change was smooth. But as I said before, here in Chicago, people like stalking. So let's say you go to the dogs park and you talk to people and you introduce yourself as a pet care provider. That person is going to book your services, or that person knows someone that is going to need your services. So they're going to refer your business. Yeah. Or if you see someone walking their dog and you approach them and you introduce yourself and you give them a business card, you get clients like that.
Wow.
And I wasn't comfortable with that at first, to be honest. That was the hard part. I wasn't comfortable because I used to be like really shy. I was a very shy person. I didn't want to talk to people. It was crazy. But I've been working on that, and I'm getting better. You know, I'm better now. I can talk to people. I get clients like that. You know, I'm not afraid of approach someone and give them my business card. So yeah.
Well, you said that was something that you've had to work on, of growing your confidence in talking to people in that. How have you intentionally worked on that? Is that something where you just kind of go, oh, I'm going to talk to that person, and you go up and you start, or do you prepare other ways?
Well, I started like doing small things, you know, like I'm gonna give someone a business card today, like just one person today, just one person. I'm gonna do it no matter what. If I'm scared, I don't care. I have to do it. I have to grow this business. I have no choice. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna be broke? Are you gonna go back to your job, 9-to-5 job, like in the office? No, you want to grow this business. This is what you want. You have to go there and talk to people, because this is how it works in Chicago. So you have to do what you have to do. And I was like pushing myself every day until it got easier.
Oh, no, I absolutely love that. I'm going to give one person my business card. I'm going to give two people my business card. I'm going to, and just work up from there. And it's this muscle as you become as you become more confident, and as you've experienced, you see how people go, oh, well, maybe I don't need you, but I totally know somebody who does. Or just the population of dogs in the city means that you have a really high hit rate anytime you branch out. So you do get these fast successes that come to you as you try these little things. Again, networking with others and then stretching yourself little by little. I think many of us get overwhelmed with the change that sometimes we have to do in our business. But I love hearing how you just said, no, we're going to do one small step at a time.
Yeah, that's what I did. And now it is something like natural. I see someone with a dog. Here's my business card. I'm a dog walker. I'm a pet sitter. Here you go. Follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, becoming confident in not just those skills, but also knowing that it's backed up by an amazing business or amazing team and services that you offer really do help start to branch out.
Yes, definitely.
Earlier, you had mentioned that you have found your ideal client profile in Chicago. If you wouldn't mind sharing, what does your ideal client look like?
I like working with young people, couples, with dogs that work and need me like for midday dog walking. I'm now trying to focus on dog walking because that's like my biggest service. Oh. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to attract now, like more dog walking, more midday dog walking. I love pet sitting, of course, and I love cats, but I want to attract more dog walking now.
How have you found that process of trying to attract or communicate with your ideal clients? Has that been easy, or what's that look like?
Well, besides all the challenges that we have now in the industry, well, first thing I would say, you have to be very clear on what you want. You have to be very clear on what your ideal client is. So that way you can start marketing to that person. Because a mistake that we all make is like we open our market like a lot. We want everything. And the truth is like not everything out there is going to be a good fit for us. So you have to really like think and write down your client profile, what you want, what that person needs from you, what do you want to get from that person too, and then plan like a marketing strategy to attract that kind of person.
Yeah, being very clear with not just who you want, but then how you're going to go about them, because you're right, I think some of that comes from this fear of not having enough business or fear of losing out on money and not being able to pay our bills. So we try and take on everybody, and we end up immediately regretting that.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Well, so describe a time where you maybe deviated from your ideal client and maybe some lessons that you learned.
You know what? To me, I've seen like the real issues when I go out of my service area. There's always that one person that contacts me and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it for this person. And it is always a mess. So I'm like, this is the proof that I have to do what I planned for. Like, if this is my service area, why I'm going in another direction, So the same thing is with the clients. If this is my ideal client, why I'm going to the one that is asking me for discount, or why I'm going to the one that doesn't want to pay my service because they think it is not worth it or whatever, But yeah, in general, like my issue is when I try to go out of my service area for someone, that's when the problems start.
Oh, we have that. We have that too, where we have our set service radius, and I feel like it's like once a month somebody contacts us, and they're like less than like a tenth of a mile outside of it, and we sit there and we're like, oh, is this going to be worth it? Is this going to be worth it?
Yeah.
And really, we've got to remind ourselves of, no, like I set that radius for a reason. And if I start breaking that promise to myself, like where is that going to stop? And I have I have to remind myself that we've got these boundaries for a reason, and it's for, our health at the end of the day, but it's also so that we can provide the best service possible to the people within that radius.
Yeah, then if you do it once, you're going to be stuck with that person, which I don't know if I'm okay with that, you know?
No, you're right. And I think that's a great way to put it of, okay, but maybe, okay, if you did it one time, what's that? If you did it 100 times, are you really still okay with that? Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Your brand of Chicawoof and Field Days, I feel like they have such a strong sense of what that brand is. So how would you describe your company, the branding behind it, and then follow up to that, how do you effectively market that to your clients?
So to me, Chicawoof is unique. But besides that, this is me like a mom, you know, as a mom, seeing my child as a unique person.
Yeah.
But but besides that, Chicawoof is a company committed to providing pets with personalized care and quality time. And when it comes to marketing, my company's philosophy and values, I found social media especially helpful. Not only because everybody's there, but because I see social media as a way to connect with my current and potential clients. I can show them how everything is done, why we do things in certain way. They can see the behind the scenes of our work. So I feel like people really connect with that. And it is a great way to show them how Chicago's values are applied day by day on what we do. Like, I want them to see that our values are not something that I wrote on my website and forgot about it. I want everybody to see that we are a professional service and we are offering like professional care to their pets.
Yeah. No, that idea of going, this is a little window into our company. And, you know, clients will stalk you for months and months, if not over a year sometimes, to see if they're going to need you or to figure out who you are, if you're the real deal. And to know, that going in and to intentionally go, the pictures that I post, the captions that go along with it, the connections that I'm making, that is visible. People see that. And I need to be as consistent as possible when I am doing that so that that same message can be getting across.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
And part of this, too, is your website. I really, really like your website. How did that get developed?
Well, I have a guy.
Nice.
So we all have a guy. So I have a childhood friend who is a web developer. So he now helps me with all the tech part in Chicawoof and now in Field Days. And when I got my rebranding done last year with Dog Design, I wanted a website that matched my new brand. So we basically made a new website. Like, we started everything from zero.
So how is the reception that you received for the website? Do you feel like it's been helpful in attracting the clients that fit with your brand?
Oh, yeah. Everybody is amazed by that website. Yeah. Like, everybody in a meet and greet, when I meet a client, whatever, they have to talk about that website. Someone told me once, like, it feels like a dog park. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's good, right?
Oh, that's an interesting description for a website.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out what they mean by that. I guess it.
I mean, it was good for them. Like, I was like, okay, I guess that's good, right? And they were like, yeah, that's great. That's awesome. It's so much fun. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I think fun. It's also I love it because it's very light in feeling as far as the design behind it, and so everything is pretty welcoming and accessible to you when you go to the website. So you're immediately drawn into it, and you don't feel like it's this. You don't get overwhelmed by visiting it, which I think is really important, especially for first-time clients.
Yeah, it is a really easy to read website.
And adorable photos.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you view social media as a little window into your company and as a way to communicate. I think many of us struggle with consistently doing that and giving the same messaging whenever we're posting and when we're doing our social media. How do you stay true to your brand and really, how do you stay consistent in your messaging?
Well, to me, being consistent is really important because the way I see it is clients know right away when there is no connection between what you offer and what they receive. So I personally, I feel like I need to make sure that we are delivering what Chicawoof promises. That's the first thing. Another thing is education. That's another way to stay true to my brand, since we advocate for pet care as a career that requires knowledge and continued education.
Yeah, as a way of continuing to try and better ourselves and to realize that, yeah, we don't know everything. We can be experienced in a lot of things, but there are going to be things that we don't know.
Of course, and everything is changing. I feel like the industry is changing every day, so there is always something that you can learn.
Well, speaking of changes, what are some of the changes or challenges that you see facing the industry?
Oh, well, I guess everybody knows COVID, how COVID hit the businesses.
What? Tell me more. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we were very lucky that our clients supported us during the whole year, because they were working from home, but they still booked our services. So I feel like we were very lucky. And to keep working, like I used to see like people with no clients, people closing down. It was really sad, it was really sad. And I feel, even though like this year, as everything reopens, it is changing again. It is getting better. Now everybody's overwhelmed. But I feel like there are like maybe a small percentage of business owners that are not 100% recovered. So it's hard. It's been a crazy year for the care industry.
Many of us are trying to figure out exactly what the expectations of our clients are now, and especially as many are staying home more because of the new flex work schedules that a lot of companies have implemented. We're still trying to figure out ways, okay, now I've got to make something work long term. I think we did a lot of short-term changes last year to meet real quick, fast needs that were changing, but now trying to look ahead and going, okay, what's going to be sustainable? How are my clients' needs going to change, and how can I really help them?
Yeah, it's hard because, as I said, the way I feel is it keeps changing. It went from dead last year to crazy this year, and now it's like we don't know what's going to happen. Like here in Chicago, we don't know what's going to happen because as some people is returning to the office, some people is being sent back home. Well, that's the situation that I'm having. So it's like we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I know you are trying to focus more on, you mentioned focus more on the midday dog walks. How are you finding marketing that service given these changing times?
Well, to be honest, I'm marketing to people at this point. I'm marketing to people who is at home, like working from home.
Yeah.
I'm saying like, okay, you are working from home. I'm gonna take care of your dog. I'm gonna get the dog tired so you can work in peace, or you can have lunch. You don't have to work. You don't have to go out and walk the dog. You can have a nice lunch. Stuff like that. Like making sure like I'm sending that message that the dog needs to be tired so you can work in peace or something like that. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. And I mean, it's working. We have clients working from home that book our services. So yeah.
No, that's good. I think that's again reminding ourselves of, well, the walk might not have changed as far as a service, but the need for it and having to communicate, because many people might not know that it's even an option for them to have that done, or that they even need it. So you kind of do have to get in front of them and going, hey, is this bothering you? Well, I can solve it by taking your dog outside for a while.
The dog is barking while people are working, or the dog is, I don't know, being demanding, want to play, whatever. I'm here for that. You can work.
Yeah.
You can focus on work and making money, and I take care of the dog.
There you go. Pet Perennials makes it easy as 1, 2, 3 to send a heartfelt condolence gift directly to someone with a broken heart. They have this awesome direct-to-client gift service that takes the effort off of us and ensures a thoughtful, personalized Simply gift reaches our client or employee. All gift packages include a handwritten card, colorful gift wrap, and shipping fees across the U.S. and Canada. They offer an array of milestone gifts and greeting cards that can be sent to celebrate birthdays, extend get well wishes, and welcome new and rescued pets. Additionally, there are gift choices in case you need to send a Simply gift in memory of a special human client or celebrate a pregnancy, engagement, or wedding of a pet lover. If you're interested, register for a free business account to unlock the all-inclusive discounted package prices. Since the service is leveraged on an as-need basis, there are no monthly or annual obligations or minimum purchase. Learn more and register by going to petperennials.com/pages/GPS. Enter the code PSC at registration. You'll be given a unique coupon code to save $2 off any package that you send in your first 90 days. Now, those midday dog walks are housed under your other company of Field Days. What was the thinking behind separating out that as its own company apart from the pet sitting that Chicawoof does?
Well, it was an existing company. It was an existing business that I bought.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't want to change anything. Yeah, they go to a different area. They work in a different way. The legal structure is different. So I chose to keep them separate.
Oh. Well, that's awesome. So you started Chicawoof and then you bought this other company. How did that opportunity present itself?
I met this guy, the former owner. I met him on Facebook. So we met one day. It was when in the middle of COVID, of the COVID situation. Yeah. We met once and he was like, oh, well, I'm thinking about selling my business, blah, blah, blah. And by that time, the amount he was asking for, I'm like, there's no way I can pay that. There's no way I can afford it. Like, I'm interested, I have money. So I was like, okay, we forgot about it. Then this year, he was like, okay, I'm able to work with you. I'm willing to work with you about payments and everything. Yeah. And let's meet, let's negotiate. And I'm like, okay, there you go. And that's how I bought it. That's how I bought it. Oh. Yeah, that's how.
That's great. Thinking of these opportunities that come along and being open to either entertaining them or just seeing where those possibilities can go can really be game changing.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, yeah, I want your business. I'll buy it. Yeah, it's been challenging. Yeah, because Field Days is a bigger company. It's bigger than Chicawoof. But yeah. So that's the challenging part, but I'm overall like really happy with my decision.
Yeah. Now, having previously sold a business, how did that play into you buying Field Days?
Well, I kind of knew the process, so that was an advantage for me, I guess. So yeah, I guess that was it.
Oh, well, so if somebody, I have seen many people posting about trying to sell their business and looking through that process. You have gone through selling a business and buying a business. What advice would you give to somebody who is thinking about going through with that?
Well, if you want to sell your business, if you're thinking about sell your business, just be prepared. And what I mean is like have everything in order, like your SOPs. Try to make it as easier as possible for the new owner so you can sell it quickly, because what are you going to buy? You as a buyer, what are you going to buy? Something like really simple that is going to start working for you right away, or something that you have to do all this work and all this transition and all this all these duties. So that's a really good point. Like, be prepared, document all your processes, work with your team, create a solid relationship with your team so they can like adapt to the new owner like easily. You can like feel that freedom to talk to them like, hey, I'm not going to be around, but this person is going to be around. Nothing is going to change, blah, blah, blah. So be very clear. Also be very clear with your clients. And yeah, that's what I would say that would be like helpful for someone trying to sell their business.
And then what about as far as buying a business?
I can talk a lot about it because I just bought it because
Yeah.
I knew this. I kind of knew this person, and so I knew the way he worked, and I knew this was a business with a very good reputation because they've been around for over 10 years. So this guy, my friend David, he did a great job with field days. So I really felt like comfortable. I didn't feel that like I had to worry about anything when I bought this business. But I know that's not always the case because most of the cases is like they don't know each other, they don't know anything about each other. So yeah, do your research, take your time, just don't be shy to ask the owner like, I want to see this, I want to see that, I want to see taxes, I want to see bank statements, I want to see reports, I want to see more about the staff. That's a good point too, because maybe you get stuck with a staff that you don't like or that doesn't do the best work. So yeah, I would say take your time, don't rush the process, just do your research and don't be shy to ask for paperwork, for receipts.
Yeah, asking lots of questions can never be can never be a bad thing, especially whenever you are, especially if you're going to be taking on staff and all of the
it's
policies.
A business. Yeah, and plus it's a big investment. Like you are investing your money on that. You want to make sure you are doing like a good investment.
Yeah, definitely want to be prudent with these moves and make sure it makes sense, not just for the goals that you have for your personal life, but that, I can see how for you, how already having an existing business, having to see, does it make sense to bring this alongside and does it jive with what I'm currently doing? How is it balancing the messaging and branding between those two different companies?
Well, I'm still working on field days. We still have a lot of work to do. We just did the rebranding like 1 or 2 weeks ago. And so we still have a lot of work in there. Yeah. We have to do the new website. We have to start like posting on Instagram more like regularly.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have a lot of work in there.
Nice.
But I like it. I like the process. So I'll be okay.
Well, what about the process do you like? Do you find satisfying?
Yeah. I love the process. I love like building my own stuff, like my own thing, my own business. Because once it is done, I'm like, okay, I did all this, Believe it or not, I did all this.
Being very satisfied with that work. And I think sometimes it can be a little different because it's not like we are building, well, sometimes we are, but it's not like we're building a big building that we can step back and look at. So sometimes it's harder to see the result of all of our effort because it's all spread out or a lot of it's online or all of this different things. But I think you're right, is to not forget that hard work and to be satisfied with that when we are done with it and it's working well.
Yes, I love that after doing such a hard job.
You've had quite the experience over the last several years of starting multiple businesses, selling and buying and moving markets. So what do you wish you would have known when you first started?
Oh, Lord. You know what? Before answering this question, I did a list on my phone, on the notes, a list of all the mistakes I've done through the years, like in business. It's crazy. It's like, I don't know, like over 200 mistakes.
Oh no.
But to answer your question, I would say I would like to understand that I don't have to do everything myself. It is good to delegate and that other people can do their work too. I don't have to, burn myself out. I can delegate and work more efficiently. Which
is really hard for people, especially when it's our business. You said you feel like a mom talking about Chicawoof, this business that you've started. You're very proud of it. You know all of the ins and outs. And then to have to bring in somebody from the outside can definitely feel, well, like, we have a lot of fears revolving around that. So how did you overcome those fears and be okay with delegating?
Well, when I started delegating and I saw the results, that's when I started to feel like more comfortable with delegating. For example, when I hired, I was I was super scared. Like I was terrified. Like these people, they are not gonna do the job the way I do it. They are not gonna love the pets like I do. And so, yeah, So once the people that I hired, they started like working, and I remember something that it was like when I woke up, I sent this person to a client like for the walking for like a week or so. Then the following week, this person needed to take a day off or something like that. I don't remember. And so I went to walk the dogs. And when I opened the door, the owners were there and they were like, "Oh, it's you. It's not this person." And I'm like, "Oh," they were like so disappointed to see me. They wanted the other person. And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." And I'm like, okay, so my clients are okay. They want them. This person maybe it's better than me, which I love it. Like I want to hire people who is better than me.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's when I started seeing that. I started seeing like the results. I'm like, okay, we're doing a good job. This is working.
Yeah. Just like whenever you saw the results of handing out a business card each day and stretching this stuff and doing these little things, when you start to see the results and trusting the results and that they're happening, I love that of going, okay, I can let go of these fears because it's actually working.
Yeah, it's a process. But yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah. Well, and you said you sat down and you wrote out some of your biggest mistakes. You don't have to tell us any of them, but I am curious how you handle mistakes as a business owner and now managing multiple companies and your staff. What goes through your head when a mistake happens?
Well, a few years ago, I used to freak out. I was like, okay, it's the end of the world. It's the end of my career. My business is gonna, nobody's gonna book my services because I made a mistake. Yeah. Now I try to take it easy. I'm like, okay, this is a mistake. We didn't do this right. Okay, how do I solve it first? I find a solution first. Then how do I prevent this from happening in the future? And I try to implement processes or create systems that help me to prevent that mistake from happening in the future. And that's it. I move on.
Yeah. No, sit down, make sure it doesn't happen again by putting in those policies, those procedures, whether or new trainings, and then because you can't dwell on that mistake, because if you dwell on it, you're never going to move, you're never going to do something new, you're never going to change or be open to other opportunities.
And you're going to be scared like all the time. I mean, mistakes are going to happen. Like nobody's perfect, We're humans, so we're not dogs. We're not perfect.
Yeah. Well, and operating our business out of fear is always going to limit us in what we're willing to do and how we're going to adapt and change. You're involved in a lot of things and you've got a lot going on. So what are some of your maybe recommended resources that you'd like for other people to know about or to share?
Well, I really like the Pet Nanny Coach YouTube channel. And there is a podcast that I love. It is not pet related, but I think it is great for business owners since it is all about personal growth. It is called the Life Coach School. So those are my two favorite resources right now.
I'll put those in the show notes so other people can go click right to those. Maria, this has been absolutely wonderful. I've really enjoyed your story of continuing to try new things and to not be afraid to take big leaps and make big changes in your life when you've got that passion behind you. I know that there's a lot that you've got going on and probably more questions that people are going to have. So how can people get connected with you, follow along with your work, and start seeing some of those amazing social media posts that you guys put out?
Yeah, so for us, Instagram is our number one social network. So you can find us as at Chicawoof Dog Walking.
Maria, again, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been a real pleasure.
Oh, thank you. It was my pleasure.
A big change or challenge to you might not be the same to somebody else. And likewise, we all have different levels of which we start being afraid or we start thinking, ooh, this might be pretty big for me. I know I need to try and overcome this. I love Maria's story of overcoming her fear of reaching out and talking to people and doing little steps, little goals that she knew she could accomplish, and building the muscles and training herself to overcome that fear. The big challenges really do become extremely manageable when we break it down into little steps for us. So whatever challenge you're facing today, or for this year, or whatever that is for you, I really encourage you to break it down into little, small pieces. They say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you overcome that fear that you have for that big challenge, that big change that you're staring at? One step at a time. Let us know how you overcome challenges and what it's like for you to process that and put those into perspective. We'd love to hear from you. You can send that to feedback@PetSitterConfessional.com or anywhere on social media at PetSitterConfessional. We really want to thank our sponsors, Time to Pet and Pet Perennials, for making today's show possible. And we want to thank you for listening and for sharing and for being here every week. It means so much. We're so thankful for you. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend, and we'll be back again soon.